Hello and welcome back to another session of Therapy and Panels. So at the time of this video's recording, Daredevil has finally returned to the small screen on Disney Plus with Daredevil Born Again. Created by Stan Lee and Bill Everett, plus a little bit of help from Jack Kirby. Supposedly the idea for Daredevil came when Stan Lee was told about how his heroes always have a certain weakness, and thus he had the idea to make his next hero's powers also his weakness. And at most, he was very scared at the time due to the idea out of fear of backlash from the media, but surprisingly, many people were overjoyed to have a superhero that was also blind, just like them. One of the great moments of representation actually mattering in a thing like this. So for today, I thought we would take a look at the origins of Daredevil as by beginning to read Daredevil number 1. My cover is a special True Believers edition of the book. It's just a different way for people to have a physical copy of the story without draining their bank accounts, really. But the cover is extremely crowded. I mean, there is no need for any of this stuff on the side here. It looks like Daredevil's trying to jump in just to make sure he's in the shot. One night at Fogwell's gym, a number of gangster-looking dudes are enjoying a game of cards when they're interrupted by the arrival of Daredevil, who has come looking for their boss, called the Fixer. I was hoping he could clean my toilet. While fighting them, Daredevil reflects back to his past and the events that led to him becoming this way. Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I got here. His real name is Matt Murdock, son of boxer battling Jack Murdock, who is past his prime and has wanted his son to get a real education instead of fighting. Talk to me when you doctor. So while he tries to find some good work, Matt is always picked on by the other kids due to him always studying, and he decides to just begin to train in secret to get all the frustration out. You know, just going off of that art style here, I feel like you guys get bullied just as much, if not worse. I mean, you look like you're 60-year-olds still in grade school. One day, Jack has no choice but to sign up with a shady fight organizer who just happens to be the Fixer from earlier. But during that same day, Matt, while walking down the street, saves a blind old man from being run over in the street, but gets run over himself. The chemical truck that hit him also spills its radioactive waste on him, blinding him. And to top it off, that waste spilled some stuff that knocked that kid's baby turtles into the sewer. Matt soon realizes that all of his other senses have been heightened from the accident and decides to continue doing his training. Over the years, Jack is experiencing a comeback that helps give back a lot of his old self-esteem, and Matt manages to get into law school and befriends his roommate Foggy Nelson. One night, the Fixer orders Jack to throw a fight, but due to Matt being in the audience, he refuses and wins the match, angering the Fixer to have Jack killed. You know, in hindsight, Jack, someone who calls themselves the Fixer, it really isn't someone you should agree to sign a contract with. Sometime after his father's funeral, Matt graduates from law school, and he and Foggy open up their own law firm, and even hire a secretary named Karen Page. Oh, you poor innocent soul. Just be glad you don't have to worry about Frank Miller for another couple decades. Sometime later, Matt decides to avenge his father by taking up the identity of Daredevil, managing to create a costume and converting his walking stick into a billy club to fight crime with. Returning back to the present, Daredevil continues to fight the Fixer's men, and while across the city, Foggy goes to find Matt to help him work, but he doesn't find him either at home or at the office. When asking Karen, she shows tender sympathy for Matt's condition. Changing back into his regular clothes, Matt manages to track down the Fixer to a subway with his keen senses And switching back to Daredevil, he chases the Fixer down the subway terminal until the Fixer suffers a heart attack. Aw man, I really wanted to punch him. After the cops round up the rest of his crew, Daredevil returns to his civilian life and shows up for work, with the others worried about his well-being. Jeez, can a guy just use the bathroom without someone freaking out about his whereabouts? And that was the first story of The Man Without Fear. And for my diagnosis, this is a really great story. The story is well-paced and has great action. I personally believe that outside of the little hiccup with the 60-year-old children, the pencil and ink work are very great for the Silver Age. And this story has worked so well that outside of some updates for the times and his costume, everything else has pretty much stayed the same for the character. And that is all the time we have for today's session. Thank you all for attending. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I am the Super Guru, signing off.